Would you believe it if I told you that Google, the internet giant, was once run out of a garage? Well, buckle up, because that's exactly how it started. Now picture this. It's the late 90s. The internet is still a relatively new phenomenon, and two Stanford University students, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, are about to change the world from their friend's garage in Menlo Park, California. That's right. The birthplace of Google, the search engine used by billions today, was a modest garage. Page and Brin had a vision, a dream to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. It was a big dream for a small garage, but they were undeterred. They had a unique algorithm, a revolutionary idea they named Backrub, which later took on the much catchier name we all know today, Google. But every dream needs the fuel of funding to take flight, and for Google, the first spark came from an unexpected source. Andy Bechtolsheim, the co-founder of Sun Microsystems, was so impressed by their demo that he whipped out his checkbook then and there, writing a staggering $100,000 check to an entity that didn't technically exist yet, Google Inc. This leap of faith from Bechtolsheim was just the start. The seed funding helped Page and Brin officially launch Google Inc. on September 4th, 1998, marking the beginning of an era. The garage office was cramped, cluttered, but it was theirs. The duo worked tirelessly, refining their algorithm, improving their search engine, and slowly but surely, people started to notice. From indexing 25 million pages in their first year to handling over 3.5 billion searches per day today, Google's meteoric rise is a testament to the power of dreaming big, starting small, and never giving up. From a garage to global domination, Google sure has come a long way, hasn't it? So, who is this Larry Page, and how did he end up creating one of the most impactful companies in the world? Well, let's roll back the clock and travel to a time when the internet was a wild frontier of information. A young man named Larry Page was pursuing his PhD at Stanford University. He was intrigued by the World Wide Web, a relatively new phenomenon back then. Page was not just fascinated by the web's vastness, but also by its disorder. Information was everywhere, but it was chaotic, scattered like leaves in the wind. He saw a problem that needed solving, a puzzle that needed piecing together. Page dreamt of a system that could organize this vast digital wilderness, and so he threw himself into the task. He began toying with the idea of creating a new kind of search engine, one that would not only find information, but also rank it based on its relevance. He believed that the best way to understand the importance of a web page was to see what other pages linked to it. This was a radical idea. It was like trying to map the entire universe by studying a single star. But Page was not deterred. He worked tirelessly, poring over algorithms and equations, until finally, he hit upon something. A formula that could index the web based on the relevance and quality of its content. He called it the PageRank algorithm, a cheeky nod to its creator. The PageRank algorithm was a game changer. It turned the internet from a chaotic jumble into a well-organized library. It made the world's information universally accessible and useful, and it set the stage for the birth of a company that would redefine our lives in ways we could never have imagined. And thus PageRank, the backbone of Google's search engine, was born. Talk about a game changer. Now, let's dive into how Google revolutionized the internet. And no, we're not just talking about helping you find cat videos faster. The Google revolution was all about making the World Wide Web as we know it today a more user-friendly space. You see, before Google, the internet was like an enormous library with no catalog, a chaotic jumble of information with no real way of finding what you wanted. But then came Google, with its innovative search engine. It was like having a librarian who knew exactly where everything was, right at your fingertips. Google's unique algorithm sorted through the chaos, delivering relevant search results in a heartbeat. But Google didn't stop there. The company went on to revolutionize the way we use the internet in more ways than one. Remember the days when you had to type in a specific website URL to get where you wanted to go? Google changed all of that with its search bar. Now, all you needed to know was what you were looking for, and Google would do the rest. And let's not forget Google's contribution to online advertising. Before Google AdWords, online ads were often irrelevant and annoying. But Google changed the game by introducing targeted advertising. which meant that the ads you saw were actually relevant to what you were searching for. This not only improved the user experience, but also made online advertising more effective. Moreover, Google's innovations weren't just limited to the internet. From self-driving cars to high-speed internet services, Google has been at the forefront of technological innovation, all with the aim of making our lives easier. In essence, Google's revolution was about more than just organizing the internet's information. It was about making that information accessible and useful. It was about creating a platform where everyone, regardless of their location or language, could find what they were looking for. So next time you find yourself scrolling through search results or clicking on a Google ad, remember the revolution that made it all possible. In a way, Google didn't just organize the internet's information, it made the world a smaller place. Here's something you might not know. Google's first ever doodle was a Burning Man stick figure. Quite an artistic start, wouldn't you say? Yes, the tech giant has a whimsical side too, and it's not just about algorithms and codes. Let's dive into some fun and surprising facts about Google. Did you know that Google's initial name was Backrub? Yes, you heard it right. Backrub. Larry Page and Sergey Brin, the masterminds behind Google, originally named their search engine Backrub because the system checked backlinks to estimate the importance of a site. However, they decided to change it, and I think we can all agree that Google has a much better ring to it. Google is also known for its tradition of April Fool's Day pranks. They've been pulling these pranks since the year 2000, and they've become something of an annual tradition. From announcing the launch of Google Nose, a product that allowed users to search for smells, to claiming they would be hosting the world's first human settlement on Mars, Google certainly knows how to inject a little humor into our lives. And speaking of humor, have you ever wondered why the Google homepage is so bare? It's because the founders didn't know HTML and just wanted a quick interface. It was also noted that the submit button was a late addition, as initially hitting the return key was the only way to burst into the vast knowledge of the Google search engine. Google's first tweet was as geeky as you'd expect. In February 2009, they tweeted, "I'm feeling lucky in binary code." That's right, a series of ones and zeros. It was a fitting start for a company that's all about data and coding. And lastly, did you know that Google rents goats? Yes, that's right. Instead of mowing their lawn, they employ around 200 goats to eat the grass at their Mountain View headquarters. Talk about an eco-friendly solution. Backrub, really? Thank goodness they went with Google instead. Now that we've taken a trip through Google's history, it's clear to see how it's shaped our digital world. From a humble garage to a global powerhouse, the Google story is one of relentless innovation and audacious dreams. And at the heart of it all, Larry Page, a visionary whose insatiable curiosity and daring spirit transformed the way we interact with information. Let's take a moment to marvel at this journey. Picture a young Larry tinkering away in a cluttered garage, fueled by the belief that information should be accessible to all. He didn't just dream of a world where knowledge was at our fingertips, he set out to create it. And thus, Google, originally known as Backrub, was born. Fast forward a few years, and Google is no longer just a search engine. It's a constellation of products and services that touch almost every aspect of our lives. From Gmail to Google Maps, Android to Chrome, YouTube to Google Drive, the list goes on. And it's not just about convenience, it's about empowerment. Google has given us the tools to navigate the world, to learn, to create, to communicate, and to drive change. But the Google story doesn't end here. Far from it. Larry Page and his ingenious team continue to push boundaries and challenge the status quo. Whether it's self-driving cars, high-speed internet balloons, or life-extending technologies, they're always looking ahead, always innovating. That's the Google way. So, as we wrap up this trip down memory lane, let's remember that every Google search, every YouTube video watched, every email sent via Gmail is a testament to Larry Page's vision and the power of innovation. And let's look forward to what's next, because if there's one thing we know about Google, it's that they're not done surprising us yet. So the next time you Google something, remember, you have a garage, a visionary named Larry Page, and a company that started as Backrub to thank. And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on more fascinating stories like this one.